The All Smiling Faces podcast is now sponsored by Tyre Spot, the Northeast's leading tyre supplier with branches across the region. Tyre Spot don't just do tyres, they cover everything from servicing to wheel alignment. They can handle every aspect of your car's maintenance. For more information, visit tyrespot.co.uk. Enjoy the episode. Hi everybody, welcome back to the Always Smiling Faces podcast on the Gallowgateshots YouTube channel. For us again, are you chucking that already?
I started the thing by sniffing my hand.
All right, okay.
So I made meatballs. So I thought, I've got a bit like...
You made what?
Meatballs. I made
right.
sweet and sour meatballs for dinner, and I've still got a bit of kind of porky residue on my hand.
What do you call meatballs?
Meatballs?
All right, okay. Yeah, welcome back to the channel, everybody.
What else would it be?
What else would you call it?
Bolognese, like,
Yeah, you know,
all right,
yeah.
it's something. You've been
Miata balls or something.
That's a spicy meatball.
Depends if I'm being Italian or not. A meatball.
All right.
Welcome
Francesco.
back, everybody. Let's just dive straight into it. Newcastle United at the hands of a 2-0 defeat to Manchester City. Mark, I'm going to come to you straight away.
When you say it like that, it sounds so disappointing.
Does it?
The third 2-0 defeat on the spin.
Yeah.
Well, if we focus on this one, okay, so there was 3 changes made by Eddie Howe. One of those was arguably, I say, forced. So Lascelles comes in for Fabian Shaw, who missed everything because of concussion. But Nick Pope obviously returns.
Yes, brother.
And Maxi
trouble.
loses his starting position and Gordon comes in.
Mm.
Were you shocked by any of those?
The latter. Yeah. You expect Pope to come back in. That's a giver after he's...
I just want to say this recording night is going to be all over because he's hanging out with his arse. He didn't even watch the game.
I'm going to disrupt it at every opportunity.
Yeah, but I'm fine, man. Pope coming back in was always going to happen, wasn't it? After he served his suspension, so no surprise there. Is he? How do you know? The share one was there was noises around it, wasn't it? Obviously, he did take a heavy whack to the face.
As he does every game.
It was just before the goal in the cup final as well, wasn't it? Which strikes us as being a little bit
early
strange.
on.
Yeah, about 20, 30 minutes in. Which makes us think, well, did they realise this? I've never had concussion before. Can it be a slow burner? Can it be something that you don't realise you've got until a few days later? Or?
Aye, it can actually.
Right.
But
I didn't know. Honestly, I'm coming from total ignorance here.
I do agree with that, though. That it was surprising, though, because I thought he played the rest of the game.
Yeah.
So then to not see him start that game,
yeah,
for that reason, I was like, oh, okay.
And for the Man U's first goal to come, Man United, this is from the League Cup final, to come from a Casemiro getting in between him and Botman, strikes us that maybe he wasn't playing. I think I said last week.
Yeah.
Right, that's it. Replay the game. Come on, get a petition
I've already
into
said that because
FA.
Casemiro did a racism on Instagram this week. He dropped an N-bomb. Just not. I think it's more just kind of being a silly sausage.
Yes.
And obviously Fernandes has been pushing referees about. So restart the game.
Just strip them of it.
They start on 9 men. And they can't take any scarves.
Probably still not scoring it.
No, probably not.
We'll get on the lack of
We'll get onto that as well.
We'll get on the lack of scoring.
But I think Share we've started hearing noises about it at the end of the week. So
none of you thinking? Was none of you thinking Target could start left back and Burn move in?
Honestly, no. There's been a lot of noise this week about Target and people desperate to get him in the team, but he hasn't played. He's only been fit for a couple of but at least he's fit.
I'll give you
that's the main thing. Target's been on the bench here and there. He had a couple of minutes, in games. Just early to start for me.
Oh no, I just wondered if you had that thought or not because you're right in what you're saying, by the way.
Yeah,
no, I'm just saying.
But then, Saint obviously being dropped was a big surprise. Particularly, the only good game he's had this season was against Man City at home. I had to, didn't I?
You did. You did it well as well. You did it well.
Started already. Decker. So Maxi is dropped from the starting 11.
It's just mental. But
do you think that's more? Do you think it's down to tactical?
Do you know what it is? Probably yes. Yes. Because I'm going to be honest, right? I wasn't happy he was dropped. I wasn't, right? Because I thought you're dropping someone who got man of the match 2 weeks ago. I mean, I just find these moments insane sometimes in football. However, I then got out my huff and I was like, let's be fair. I think I've sat here and said there's certain games maybe I wouldn't play them either because of tactical decisions. And them were causing a lot of trouble down the right-hand side. And that was without Maxi on there. And you had Gordon chasing back half the time and they were causing trouble. So maybe, to be fair, Howe did say Gordon is going to have a big part to play. It's Gordon's ready to play. And I get that. I get that completely. I can't lie, I was disappointed he wasn't playing. But probably the biggest shock for me was Wilson still starting, if I'm being honest with you. I appreciate Lascelles coming in. That was Lascelles coming in was probably the biggest shock to my eyes, if I'm being honest. But
it was forced.
It was forced. But I think seeing Wilson start was a real surprise, if I'm honest.
The thing with Lascelles for me, before I realised that Shea was concussed, I thought, well, maybe it's because he's a big physical lad and to deal with Haaland, who's also a big. I thought, well, maybe it's that kind of. Before I knew Shea was concussed, I thought, well, I wonder if that's why that's happened. So you could argue that that's kind of. I wouldn't say played in my favour, got beat 2-0, you know. But I think Lascelles is the centre half where Shea's a physical lad and he's better on the deck. Where Lascelles is more kind of like I'm going to liken him to John Terry, not to say that he's as good as John Terry was, but in that he's a big like a stopper. You know, and I think he's probably. As far as we've got with regards to centre halves, as well matched or has the attributes to deal with someone like Haaland.
And he did give him a game. For me, I thought he handled him very well.
I think we'll come on to him and have a.
So the commentators
at some point.
Your legs look very sexy on that camera, Bestie.
On that camera, you want to be sat here?
It's
like Sharon Stone in Sliver. Sliver she was in when
Basic Instincts.
There's a dirty lads at the end there getting them.
Watched that many times.
So yeah,
just pull your short down a little bit.
Lascelles comes in, and the commentators mentioned there, Deckard, that to go toe to toe with Haaland, you've got to match him in every department in regards to strength. Lascelles was unbelievable at doing that.
He was absolutely brilliant. Well, let's say so I think the first minute, right? I think it was the first minute. Then when it went down wide and crossed it,
was a wobble.
I think it was Silva maybe had a header and it just went over the top. Surely the replay, my God. Lascelles was touch tight with him, by the way. Touch tight. And then for whatever reason, just one had away, the crossed and then he scored. And I thought, we're going to a minute in the game. However, then I thought he was tremendous from then on. Honestly, I really did. I thought he's strong, really, really physical. Sometimes maybe too much. He was like a wrestler sometimes. But honest to God, to come in from the cold against probably the best team, arguably the best team in the country, against one of the best strikers in the world, he did unbelievably well. He really did. Of course, he's limited on the floor. There was a few times where you knew if that was Shea, maybe that pass that we were trying to play forward would have happened, and you give the ball away. But you know what it is. You just got to take it on the chin. And I thought he was excellent, personally. Considering how concerned I was going into the game and seeing him starting, he was amazing.
I think it's easy to forget how good a player Lascelles is. He's not the best centre half I've ever had. He was very important as captain. Or he's still team captain, isn't he? But like the championship season before we went down with Rafa, when
Silva?
Yeah.
Sorry, Bestie. Someone said Silva. It's not 2012, but they've gone to that Silva.
Yeah, they've got Bernardo Silva, right? Yeah. When he got the captaincy basically on the back of Lascelles punching that. Janmat punching the door at St Mary's when we got relegated. He's been excellent, but he's been crap at times as well. Don't get us wrong, but he's a Premier League standard centre half for me. Just maybe. I don't think he's far above that. I don't think he's going to. You're not going to see him like if he leaves us. He's not going to go into like Tottenham, Arsenal, Man U. You know, he's going to kind of go to someone like maybe Battle Forest. There's been talk obviously that's where we got him from, and they seem to be buying all our cast-offs at the minute. So,
well, that's true. So I think what it sells. I think sometimes with the way the game's changed in terms of ball playing defenders, I don't really think anyone's had too much of a problem with it defensively. Occasionally, we have certainly players that are maybe direct. You know what I mean? Like someone that can be in and around you and stuff, and a bit elusive. Like he struggles against that, he can get tied up in knots.
Yeah.
But I don't really think many people have threw him under the bus for being poor defensively. It's just his lack of ability on the ball.
Penalties
so bad.
Penalty away at times as well.
Whereas I love to see I'll always go back of it when we played three at the back and had Lejeune and Shea. Lascelles was just that stopper.
Right in the middle.
In the middle, just be the stopper, had everything in sight. As soon as you get the ball, give it to one of them. Right. That's all we need you to do, type of thing, you know. And I think when you play four at the back, he can be a lot more vulnerable when you're trying to bring the ball out because he's just not his game. It's not.
But he's a decent centre half. He's not a great one, but he's decent enough for me. Like as a fourth choice, which he is. We think we've got Shea, Botman, Byrne, and then Lascelles. He's probably the best fourth choice centre half out of the top six. I would have said top of my head. Maybe
I don't know them all, but I mean,
know I don't. I've just said.
I know what you're saying.
That's why I said it, because I knew that no one else would know who else I was on about. So I was thinking,
I think you can get carried away as well. I mean, you can see one game of football and go, "Joe, it's really good."
He's great.
Do you know what I mean? Sometimes that can happen, but
do you know what
based
I
on
like
90 minutes
from Lascelles is the fact that we'll look more of a threat in regards to
corners,
set pieces, and set players attacking them.
100%.
Because I've mentioned a couple of times, Botman and Byrne, for some reason, they just can't score for being such tall lads and towering above most defenders.
He was good. Couple of corners that came over and Lascelles was on the end of them.
He knocked one back in, which was like great play. Knocked one back in.
We should have bring a specials team on for corners, attacking corners with just Lascelles and Kieran Clark.
NFL style.
Then when that's gone right, bring the lads back on. Sit lads.
I think the thing with Lascelles, and like he did do a great job against Haaland, and so did Botman, but the fact that they were both pairing up on him was leaving that space, and we're so with Phil
takes with the first goal, that doesn't it, massively.
So Phil Foden comes, he picks a ball up just outside the box, doesn't he? And he just looks up and drives
over on the right-hand side. Yeah,
he just keeps on running and running. Gordon tries to knock him off balance. That doesn't work. Then it was Rio Ferdinand that described the shot as exquisite.
I know I was just peculiar on that because
exquisite shot.
Unless I finish 3-0, I've missed one of the goals because
he gets in a great position. He does.
It's a great run. Well. The run through is brilliant, and I mean, there's I think was something I watched maybe Match of the Day. I didn't see that. We're all talking about how Botman's maybe on his heels a little bit as he cuts inside and Byrne doesn't deal.
Botman's in a poor position for me. Like Botman's in a poor
Bruno
position.
And Gordon, the three players around him.
At first, you've probably seen about as well. I originally blamed Joe Linton. Originally, if Joe Linton does not move at all, even the ball's hit the net and he still hasn't moved. He's still just standing there. But then when I watched it back, I was thinking, you know what it is? Actually, he really can't. If he comes across, Joe Linton definitely could have come across. However, that would have allowed the pass to come. And I understand why Joe Linton stayed there. I'm probably more what Mark's saying in terms of Botman's positioning.
Yeah,
it's like an ocean.
If you watch it back, watch Kevin De Bruyne, because Kevin De Bruyne's in that space between Byrne and Botman, and he just drifts out behind, and he just takes the corner. I'm sure it's Joe Linton. He takes with him, which just leaves that gap there, and that's where Botman just he goes, oh well, there's no point for us to go there because Joe Linton's there. But as soon as he goes out, he needs to be awake to that and coming across to cut that run off. But again, the exquisite finish. It was very much like Rashford last week, wasn't it? Where the keeper's saving that all day. Yeah, 100%.
It's so unlucky, isn't it? So unfortunate.
I think once Foden gets in the box and how good he is with the ball at his feet in tight spaces, you can't make it a challenge because if it goes wrong, it's a penalty all day long.
Yeah, I mean, you're right. Once he's full flight, you're in big trouble. You know, you've got to try and stop him before that. It's just one of them, isn't it? It felt. I don't know. I felt like it was coming. I don't know. I just felt we looked a bit shaky. Like I felt. I didn't think we were played badly. I think at that point, I just thought Foden was looking really.
But it's another game where we get the first chance. Gordon's.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
Gordon's picked the ball up.
Stands on the ball more.
He's in the box, great position. I'm not saying he should score from this position, but he should definitely be getting a shot on target and testing the keeper.
Shame, right?
And he's running at speed. Then he goes to swing for it, and as he swings, his right foot knocks the ball away from him. He just absolutely swings at fresh air.
Oh, it's a shame.
It's awful when you watch it back. Because at first I think I'm going, oh, that's a great tackle. Because you think the defender's coming across and getting a little touch on it. But dear me, yeah, it's just his other foot comes from behind and just clears it, and it's a swinger.
It's kind of something. Go back a few years, you would have seen maybe Joe Linton or maybe Almiron do. You know, one of them moments where you say, "There's your chance," and I agree. I'm not saying he should have scored, but you would expect him to work the keeper. A lovely ball from Bruno, by the way.
It was a great ball.
Lovely. It'd be fair, it was a lovely move actually. Lovely pass, lovely run. The run doesn't happen without the pass, and vice versa. It's just it's comedy at the end, really. Unfortunately for us, it was.
It is. I think after Man City get their first goal, I think they just wanted to dominate a big chunk of that game. Yes, we do get a couple of opportunities, but
the game. Do you think so?
Well, up until a certain point, I think there's a 20-minute spell where we do well. Probably when the subs come on, I think at that point, that's when we start playing a bit better.
I thought second half we were very, very good, particularly up until the the moment that really settles the game, because I think we had some huge chances.
I think if you
Joe
go
Linton
back,
had a big chance.
that's after the subs,
Wilson.
I mean.
Oh God!
if you go go back to the first half, go back to the first half for a second. So you've got Gordon's chance, half a chance, right? Okay. We need to talk about Wilson's chance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is still giving me nightmares.
And then I'm going to briefly mention Longstaff's as well, because that followed, I think.
Just watched
maybe
that as a goal.
before.
That was a great tackle, that one.
But it was. The problem is Longstaff takes too many touches.
It takes too long for him to come down.
Yeah, he's like
It's
one
like-
touch.
You
another
mentioned
touch.
Joe Linton and Almer on there. What they were when the wins. I've literally just watched it there for the first time. And it does. It's like you're waiting for the ball to come down. It's like, well, why is it just?
Aye.
It
Doesn't
can
fall.
be the confidence thing or whatever. And it's a great. I think Aki puts tackle. It's a good tackle.
Very good tackle.
Brilliant
But
tackle.
it does. It just takes him too long to get the shot away.
Yeah. So that encouraged us that chance, and I'm sure Wilson's came second. Trippier did very well because he heads it back across.
Yeah, that's right.
Now this is
That's just another swinger again, though, isn't it, Wilson? He just
it
I
gets
think
worse every time I say it.
it's-
That one, if I'm honest.
He's out of form, isn't he? That's the thing. And it's just coming out with confidence or what? But it's like he swings, and it's not like a little bit too early. It's like about half a second too early. Almost like it's exaggerated slightly, maybe. But you'd expect if you did that on a Sunday morning, you'd be disappointed.
I was talking to Ashfaq, legend. I was talking to Ashfaq today. We were talking quite a bit about it. He watches the podcast.
it's a member.
He is a member, yes, he is. We were chatting about it, and what I was saying to him was like, of course, it sounds a bit daft what I want to say here, but I'm not bothered if he doesn't score, right? That's not really, I know it's his job and I know he's a striker, but his all-round game looks poor. That's what's worrying me. So we referenced the game we were chatting today. I remember Arsenal at home, right? He didn't score in that game. I thought he was unbelievable in that game against Arsenal. I know I'm going back here.
3-0.
The last game of the season when we beat them.
Yeah.
He didn't score,
Excuse me.
but he was unbelievable up front. Everything stuck to him like glue. Looked quick, looked direct,
Was that
looked a
one he
threat,
had the shot
aggressive.
like 40 yards away in the
chested
turn?
40, in the turn.
Unbelievable,
And then you look at him now, he can't trap a bag of sand. He never seems to win any duel at all. Whereas I'm sure I argued with you, Mark, before. Well, there's a
Shock.
there's a shock. But I was on about, I criticised Wood because I didn't think enough was sticking to Wood. And I actually sat here and said, I think Wilson gives a bit more up front on his own than what Wood's doing for the size of him. Wilson is not doing anything of that up front at the minute. And then to compound all of that, he then does what he did, that chance there.
He's just devoid of all confidence at the minute,
feels
isn't
that
he?
way, like, yeah.
He's an absolute shadow of himself before the World Cup. Do you think he's just used everything that he's got in the bank to get in that squad?
I don't know. It's a funny one because I don't think like when you can exert so much to try and get into the England squad, which he did. He had a great start of the season, but that shouldn't really detract because he didn't really play the World Cup. So basically, he had a few.
Picked up another injury, didn't
He did, but it was like a warm weather training camp, which as it was for Trippier for the most, he played a couple of games. Bruno, Shea didn't really play a great deal of football. So for me, and I'm not a sports what do you call it?
Scientist?
Conditioning expert. Scientist would do. Like, to me, I think, well, he's gone over there, done some training, hasn't played that much football. He should be pretty sharp. And the injury notwithstanding, but he just doesn't look. I don't know. I don't think you can use up all your desire in half a season like that because surely you should still be thinking, right, he's probably not going to get to the World Cup, but Euros next summer, realistically, it's unlikely. But if he has a great 18 months from the World Cup to the Euros, why not? And it just feels like he's kind of, I don't know. I don't think it's for lack of effort.
Has it maybe been one injury too many? Is it maybe
Well, you wouldn't
all
be
of these
shocked.
breakdowns that are just catching up?
Possibly, yeah.
You wouldn't be shocked if it comes out in the next couple of weeks that he's been nursing an injury again.
Then,
Well, he hasn't been training a lot, has he? Because of his hamstring issues, and then we know he's had COVID about 27 times. So
because I'm sure he came on against Liverpool and he had, in how I'd referenced, he had only trained once that week, and then he brought them on when we were 2-0 down, which I didn't agree with personally at that time. I don't know. I've seen a few people on Twitter saying like, obviously it's blind loyalty by Howe, and maybe you shouldn't be doing that. Now, I've always sat here and said I'm a fan of someone that's loyal to somebody and like shows faith in him. I am a fan of that. But I think you're right, mate. It gets to the point where you've got to say, I mean, Isak came on. Sorry, I'll just jump forward a second. But Isak came on and my God, looked sharp. He looked dynamic. He looked, you know what I mean? Looked aggressive.
He does that thing again, Isak, where he's got no space whatsoever on the field and he gets past a player.
Unbelievable turn at the byline. Unbelievable turn.
He's done that not long ago in the game, and he just rinsed somebody
Southampton,
on the,
wasn't it?
Yeah, he just rinses somebody on the side, and he does it again at the weekend against Man City.
I think if you look at, I mean, take the cup final, he was terrible. The cup final wasn't much, to be fair. But you think of the Liverpool game, I'm sure it was a Liverpool game, wasn't it? Yeah, he had a huge chance in that game, didn't he? Which Alisson saved. Gordon played him through. I am right.
On his left foot, maybe.
Yeah, I think, and that was a poor finish. You've then got this one against City. No, it's only one chance. I understand that, but
when you're that close to the goal,
I'll give you that. Yeah,
tapping it.
And we know that Callum Wilson of old would have finished them off.
It's at that level, isn't it? You think, well, you don't against Man City, against Liverpool, you don't get many chances like that. Clear cut as the were as well, and you've got to at least with that Man City one hit the target.
I think, and also, sorry, I'm talking a lot here. I apologise. I think something that I was more pleased about coming away from that game was at Man United, the final. Sorry, when we played against Man United, we could have played there for a year and never looked like scoring. I thought in this game we actually looked like we could have scored. We had a lot of chances in that game, 4 to 5, very, very good chances. And I actually came away from the game, for all disappointed we missed them. I was really pleased with what we created, though. We actually created chances.
Yeah. So something which you mentioned before, Decker, is the fact that we were scared to put a ball in the box. And we've done it a lot, especially when the subs were made. So the 3 changes were made initially. So Isaac comes on, Willock comes on, and Maxi comes on. Yeah. When those 3 came on, we dominated for a good 15 minutes.
It really hurt that them scored, because we looked great, didn't we?
We were battering them. We were absolutely battering them.
I was so off the edge of my seat, man. We looked great.
We get the chance that
really
Willock puts in. It's Willock puts it in from the right-hand side. And Joe Linton's running in there. He doesn't even, honestly, it hits his studs, I think it hits.
It's awful.
He's 3 yards out, if that.
Unmarked now,
He should be burying that.
I've not seen this.
Oh,
really?
He's 3 yards out. He doesn't
get worse. More times
I've been thinking over which one's the worst between Wilson and Joe Linton because they're like
probably Joe's for me and all.
It's Joe's.
Both massive chances, aren't they?
I'm nervous watching this.
It's just Joe, isn't it? Like, God bless him. It's just Joe, isn't it? Like, he's just in front of goal. It's never worked for him.
I might have to take the blame for that because in the WhatsApp group I said I'd rather Joe Linton was playing up front than Wilson. 2 seconds later, I just said.
It just sums us up in the minute, though, doesn't it? It's like we just kind of buy a goal for love nor money.
It's that thing in the final third. And I was reading Luke Edwards put an article out today saying about Newcastle are playing well enough, and you look at the stats, the XG, with however much you want to give that. I quite like with XG, mate. That hasn't really changed over the course of 1.5, whatever. That's kind of stay consistent. We might have been overperforming early in the season. Now we're underperforming slightly, but we're still playing well. And we just said there, and I didn't see it, but the second half, what everything I've read says, like, well, they really took the game, Man City.
Yeah,
they did. Yeah. Really tried. Like,
until they scored, we were massively on top, and it was again like the game last week. We're knocking on the door, and you just kind of get that little bit of luck, the ball dropping in the right place, or that extra inch of length that you need. We've all been there.
It's frustrating in many ways because, as well, there's certain times you'll have a chance in the game and you'll go, oh, if only they had a fell such and such. We don't have anyone I could say, I wish they had a fell to that person because no one can score.
He's the one.
Like, it's Wilson last season, isn't it?
Isn't it? It's just mad. So, but to reference what you said, I also want to reference Murphy.
Yeah. So he was the next sub. He was a 4.
Yeah.
Oh, he put 2 absolute beautiful balls in the box.
Absolutely. Flashes one across the face of goal, doesn't he?
Oh, beautiful balls. And I felt, not to listen to me, but I did say last week, didn't I, that I was frustrated we weren't putting the ball in the box. I felt this game we were doing that. Yeah. And Joe Linton's chance came from that. I know it wasn't across the side, but Trippier's was kind of like back in, from wide. It was, and I thought Murphy was putting some great balls in, but we didn't have anyone in the middle there capitalising on them.
There's a great one I've just seen. He's put it was Maxi at the back post.
That's the one.
For the corner. It's a great ball.
Really good ball. Yeah.
Honestly, Murphy looked so direct when he came on. Really he just wanted to put his head down and run.
Really did.
And he done really well when he came
impressed
on.
me maybe 4 times in a row now coming off the bench. He really, really
and that's why I was shocked that Maxi didn't play and Isaac not starting, that you mentioned up front, because we all know that Man City like to get forward. The full-backs will pile on. It leaves a lot of space. Even the centre-halves like to get forward as well. So I thought, this is the opportunity for us to hit them on the break, use that bit of pace, and
like we did at home in that game.
Exactly that. And Gordon showed it from very, very early with that chance at the start.
Gordon's very elusive, isn't he? Like, there was a few moments where, to reference Maxi for a second. So if Bain passes the ball to Maxi, I feel like Maxi will take a touch, right, try and hold someone off taking another touch, and he comes inside. Gordon comes inside with one touch. The ball gets played of him, and his first touch is inside straight away. Very, very good at that. Like, no doubt about it. He's gonna have really something. He's a very good player.
Was the Joe Linton chance the first half? Was that
no
second
half?
half?
That kind of it's not got up next. I did highlights here.
Oh, it might be after that. To be fair,
no, I've just gone through the.
Oh, really? That's very surprising. It's a huge chance, like
because Willock puts it in. I thought Willock done well when he came in. When he made the substitute appearance against Man United in the cup final, he was absolutely dreadful. He did. He looked like wasn't anywhere near fitness. When he came on against Man City, I thought he looked decent. And that, do you know what it is? I saw those three lads coming on the field, and I thought, this is how our sub bench should be. Mm-hmm. But obviously, the starting 11 isn't what it currently is right now. Mm-hmm. That's, if you look at the future, hopefully that is what we're like. We're excited by these three players coming.
I totally agree. I mean, I got a big shot in the arm, not just because it was Maxi, but I seen Isak coming on. Willock, I thought, bloody hell, that's three really, really direct, impactful players that can come and make a difference. And I know it didn't in the end, but when they did come on, though, they made a huge difference. I felt in the 10, 15 minutes that they were on there. I mean, we looked so dangerous. It was just so unfortunate that the sucker punch of the second goal came almost on our best, our most positive moment of the game, then went and bloody scored.
It's been coming for God knows how many games, that sort of goal against us.
It was self-inflicted again.
We give the ball away, and it's becoming really frustrating. Trippier had done it God knows how many times in that game. Yeah, so he done it, which gives them then the chance, and it's absolutely shocking. But just 3 minutes later, he does exactly the same in exactly the same position.
Well, there's twice in the build-up in the goal that he basically passes the ball to their players. He does it for them to initially gain the possession, the break forward, and then as they're coming across the box, again he almost wins the ball, but then he passes it straight into the middle, and then that's it, bang, 2-0.
It's you're right though. He actually physically just passes him. It's mad. It's if he doesn't see him. It is mad that it is. And I think we have to be fair. I think Trippier has struggled over the last, and also as well. There's so much seems to go through Trippier as well, though, isn't there? He's such an important part of the team, and he has so much of the ball. It feels in games, but he, set pieces we've criticised him for. But again, that was quite criminal, really, for that second goal. To be fair.
On a different day, you look at that game, and we could have came away with something like.
But is it 100% in that second? And that's why I was surprised at what you'd said, because I thought second half we did very, very well, and just with a little bit of luck, something just which we're just devoid of at the moment. We're not helping ourselves by, as we've talked about a few times, like not taking a risk and having a shot. Trying to work little passes in, and just rather than driving it into the box, or at least once it's there. Take a first-time shot. You don't need to try and take 3-4 shots and try and work your way into the box.
Yeah, we did it. I think there was one moment we did in the first half where we did that. We overpassed it. We tried an extra, but let's get it in the middle or have a shot. You just seen it.
Jordan, mate.
So yeah, it's But I honestly, I swear to God, I came away from the game. I was actually really quite positive, to be honest. I really was. I thought I was really pleased with pleased for Lascelles, because to go back to him for a second, I thought he played very, very well when he come in. I thought we created a lot of chances. I thought Isak looked great when he come on. I actually still thought Murphy played well when he came on.
Maxi and Isak worked really well together.
Yeah, they did. They did against Southampton, and you can see they've got something there, and hopefully they can build on that. But I was. Again, a little bit Miggy. Again, I didn't really feel. I think again he works very, very hard, and he doesn't really give the ball away. But I don't really see anything the other way. If you go back to the with Spurs away, if you can remember, and he absolutely blitzed past their fullback and opened his body up. I'm not seeing that explosiveness in terms of physically getting the ball and go past the fullback.
I thought Ake was very good.
Oh, he's a good player.
Against him, though. That's the only thing.
Yeah.
So just because we mentioned both the players there in Lascelles and Maxi, Kobe is watching, and Kobe sends in a question. He says, anything to read in Lascelles telling Alan St. Maximin to get up, man, when he went to go down near the end. So it's when Grealish and Haaland are keeping the ball in the corner, which was annoying, but funny as fuck at the same time. If you're a Man City fan, I would have loved that if it was the other way around. But Lascelles is walking back, and he stands on
his foot, doesn't he? Yeah.
The Maxi starts hobbling, and he goes to sit on the deck. Then Lascelles turns around and he's frowning at him. He's not happy. And he does say, "Get up, man."
Yeah. It was
he's not happy.
Clear to see, wasn't it? It was quite amusing. He was every Newcastle fan except Decker at that moment.
No, it is what it is. Even I laughed when it happened, and I was just like, I think even I said, "Get up." I was like, "How am mate? Get up." You know what I mean? I'm not daft. You know what I mean? But in terms of reading something in it, no, it's like it is what it is. He told me to get up. I get on with it. It is what it is.
It's Lascelles, and we all know Lascelles have got some fight in him.
If Lascelles told me to get up, I'd be up.
Oh, I would. If I'm Maxi, I'm not turning up the training this week. Like, Lascelles is going to dig us.
Lascelles
just meg him three
dish a
times.
few knuckle sandwiches out like this time. Yeah, like he's
I did think Dan Burn was going to dish out a knuckle sandwich because
that push and shove for Haaland.
That was funny.
The angle I never seen again. I thought Haaland kicks out at Burn. Like I really. Oh, was it? I apologize. Sorry. Of course it was. Yes, I'm sure Grealish 100% kicks out at Burn, like because you see Burn's reaction turn and go, "What's got the matter?"
Yeah.
He only fell on it. Wasn't he? Didn't mean to like hurt him or anything. And then Haaland comes from nowhere.
Yeah,
and it really erupts for them.
He's got no business getting involved there. Like, has he?
Not.
He's came the length of the pitch to
Burn
just have a bit of orgy,
doesn't he? Immediately, Burn grabs him like as if to go out, and I'll dust you up, like name bother. But no, it was interesting. And it was,
I'd like to know what Burn said to him because
he
then starts laughing, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
So he must have said something.
Nah, I think that's his arse dropping at that point when he starts smiling. I think that's Haaland's arse dropping.
I know Haaland's a piss take as well, isn't he? So it might just be
he's a bit weird, isn't he?
Yeah,
he's
really weird.
He's a weird guy.
Yeah, but robots don't have a sense of humour.
Yeah, do you? Next.
I don't understand.
Yeah, so if anybody has any questions, send them our way. We'll go through as many as possible.
Like, when you think that we've just, and I know we're biased because it's us, but like we've rattled off all these chances that we've had, and I honestly, Pope didn't dig out.
It's one good save I've seen in the second half where Tony's right. I've just seen it. I literally fast forwarding through, so I wasn't really paying much attention to who it was. But there's one where they break, have the shot from the right hand side, like in the box, obviously, and Trippier gets there. I mean, Pope gets down really well, pushes it away. But I can't remember saying much. And the thing from what I saw on Saturday, when I was getting caught around tile shops and stuff, like it's weird whenever Man City get the ball. I don't know if it's my kind of subconscious because I know what Man City are, I know what these players are, and what they can do, and what they've done in the past. I feel like they look so dangerous on the ball and they're quick and they're accurate and they're crisp.
They got up the field so
really
quick.
well. Where we are good on the ball, but we're a bit more, not ponderous isn't the right word, but a bit more, we don't have that zip, that kind of cutting edge that they have. But like you say, the chances we made there, if you say the difference is it's 2-0, 2 goals over an hour and a half of football isn't a lot, really. The chances we've had, Joe Linton missing the ball altogether, Wilson mistimes it badly, Gordon stands on the ball, Longstaff half chance because it's a great tackle by Aki. It takes too long to come down, but I still think he could do better with that. There's 4 chances. He put 1 or 2 of those away. And Man City, a team of their level, their quality, Liverpool, Arsenal, whoever, do score 1 or 2 of those. Certainly.
100%. I mean, that Silva goal, we just don't score that goal.
We've got a lot. We're defensively, we're very good, and that was with our 4th choice centre half, as we've already said, with the centre half playing at left back. Trippier out of form. Bruno's back now, but Joe Linton's
we've never mentioned him at all. Actually, it's funny enough.
And we're still making those chances. Well, this is a good side. Newcastle are good. As I said earlier on, overperforming maybe a bit at the start of the season, particularly say the Fulham game where they got that Isak scored the late goal and stuff like that. Underperforming since the World Cup a little bit, even though the Fulham game is the World Cup, but still. And
is it 1 win in 8? Maybe
something like that. And that's not great form, but we're still 6th in the table.
I think you might have actually done a YouTube first tonight.
I burst down the microphone an awful lot.
That's done. You do that.
I do that every week. But yeah,
sweet and sour Dan's coming in, saying that he's thoroughly enjoyed you doing this. So this might be the first ever YouTube watch along 2 days after the game.
So have I now got to not watch the games up until the time?
Yeah, it's like a watch along 2 days late.
So I've got to turn I'm just going to stand in the stadium, my back turning the game on Saturday.
Yeah.
But to be fair, you normally don't turn up until about 20-30 minutes in anyway.
I'm a social butterfly. I'm saying autographs tonight, you know what I mean?
You've just been making noises as you've been watching it throughout this podcast.
That's just that's been dinner set and a lot of rice.
You're right though with the. And again, you've got to give credit to the defense there because we did limit their attack to half chances. If that, as I say, I can't recall too many. They did have an awful lot of the ball in midfield. Grealish, I thought, was everywhere for them. He was on the ball constantly, floating in and out. So that's where
his coughs are unbelievable. Aren't they?
You look at my
talk about bestie.
What kind of cough?
I even caught me, and my dad looked. It was funny when I said it, and then about a minute when I went by, and he went, They are like,
Yes. But I think that was where they controlled a lot of the ball with him, and Foden just stayed out wide for a lot of the time, and there was always a ball on there because as you said, they just move the ball so quickly,
fast. Really,
and that's
really
what kind of then stretches things out. Bruno, as you say, I thought he had a. It's weird because I thought watching it, he had a pretty quiet game. He didn't do a lot, but then I watched like a reel of him, that was out of highlights, and I was like, bloody hell, Bruno was brilliant.
That happened
And
against
I'm like,
that happened against Southampton. The first leg away to Southampton, we're sitting here going, God, he's had a nightmare here. Bruno's had a stinker. He got man of the match. Then you watch, he's kind of isolated. You think, actually, that's all really good. It's just, it's bizarre how that works.
I just don't think he looks fit, personally. It looks like I'm not saying he's not. He's playing well. He's doing okay. He just doesn't look right.
He's had his head turned by Madrid.
No. You can see,
and Man City after the weekend,
he was holding his ankle again a little bit. And,
yeah, he did. He went down with his ankle again.
So I don't think he's fully right, but he's still doing enough. But it was just frustrating. Isn't it? I mean, all the things you're saying, I agree with, and you have to accept that you're playing Man City at their place. You accept that you might lose the possession game, or you might lose a little bit in midfield. That's fine. It is what it is. I thought Foden. I was really, really worried actually for about 10 minutes. I thought Foden, for about a 10-minute period, looked like he was invincible. And I thought, gee, he had burn on toast for a bit. And I was really nervous. And it actually faded away, and it didn't actually go that way. But yeah, it's just frustrating. It's just another one where I think we've done so much right in a game, come away with nothing.
Yeah.
Just feel
something you said earlier, Decker, and it's got nothing to do with kind of what's happening. It's maybe what's going to happen in the future, what could happen. You said how well Isak and St. Maximin played well together, how well they work together. And we've sat around this very table over the past few weeks and said, like, Isak, we don't really know what he is because he can sit deep, or he's not, doesn't appear to have the attributes to be like a Callum Wilson type centre forward, which he isn't. He's not Wilson's. He's that kind of centre forward man. Anyway. I wonder if in the future Isak and St. Maximin could be to get more out of St. Maximin, you get Isak, who kind of comes off the front line a little bit, leaves that space in where he's St. Maximin. Just that's something I was been thinking about. That's all.
A lot of Isak's best moments for us, if I think just off the top of my head, a lot of them have come from out wide or running from deep and things. I totally agree that he's not Les Ferdinand. He's not going to stand up front and be this target man or whatever it is. Yeah. Maybe he can develop to be that, but certainly I think at the moment it's runs out wide.
There was a last striker that did that for us.
Like
Remy.
Like Remy.
100%. Demba Ba was kind of like that as well. Remy, yeah.
He does remind us a lot of Remy. Was
a kill in the championship, maybe.
Remy was down.
Again, he talks about as it being his football hero. It was Thierry Henry, and that's exactly what, when he came over to England in his early days at Arsenal, he played a lot out on the left, drifted out there. How many times did we see him cut in and just curl one into the top right-hand corner? Like, that was his signature goal. So
I think as well, we haven't seen much of Isak, have we? He hasn't had a chance to have a run. But every time you've seen him, there's something. Doubt there's something.
Do you think, Digger, if it wasn't Man City after that cup final game, let's say if it was Wolves, let's say the next game was Wolves, you would say Isak start that?
I'd say it would be the other way around.
I don't know. I think he's probably just believed in Wilson.
I think that's what it is. I think Howe stuck him because he.
I tell you also, I want to applaud as well, actually, and I didn't even think this until just a second. We have just come off the bat of a cup final defeat, and you're going against one of the best teams away from home.
3 horrible games that were fun.
It is. No, it is horrible. It is horrible games, and you have to, again, look at it and say,
although, man, you are shit. Like,
we did really well in that game on Saturday. No one's heads dropped. We didn't look fatigued. We didn't look like, feeling sorry for ourselves. So, again, got to give them a lot of credit for that as well. I know I lost the game. I'm glad as if I've won, but do you know what I mean? Like, it's just just come to us.
I think there's a lot to be hopeful for going into and again, it's like that run of draws that we've had a couple of runs of draws where it's the next result is. It happens at the end of the run of draws. This time we start to lose games, but it's been Liverpool, Man United, Manchester City. These next few games, I mean, they're winnable. They're certainly not foregone conclusions. Wolves beat Spurs at the weekend.
Forest next, isn't it?
Forest have had a decent run, but they got pumped off West Ham and they got beat off. Drew Everton yesterday. So, I mean, that Everton fighting for their lives. Sorry, Forest fighting for their lives a bit. I suppose Wolves the same. They're in that as well. They're not easy games, but their chances to. We've got a pretty much a fully fit first team now. Joe Linton suspended. Which he will be a miss too because he's a dirty guy.
So what? He was complaining as well about getting a yellow card. It's a yellow card all day long.
He complains every yellow card he gets, so doesn't
he?
Yeah. I was actually very worried he was going to get sent off.
Yeah,
so I thought he was really losing his head. Like.
Bestie, if you're picking your midfield now, in the absence of Joe Linton, are you going with 3 centre mids?
I will do, just because I really struggle. I think of 4. 3, you've got to go with Bruno, Longstaff. I think Willock.
Yeah,
and then probably put Maxi. Maybe I don't know. Can he play Gordon right, Maxi left? He's through the middle.
Don't see why.
There's a song in that somewhere.
But this is the front 3 that I would love to see. Like, for a bit. I'm not saying forever.
The thing is, we're playing.
You know,
Maxi on the right.
Miggy. No, I'd play Gordon right.
Gordon right. So yeah.
And I'd play Maxi left.
Sorry, I did say that as well.
And see what that, because listen,
we could swap them and get rid of bloody inverted wingers.
You could do. No doubt, you definitely could.
Need a target
and
man.
I'm not saying
we didn't need a target man at the weekend.
Oh, we did, because it didn't score any.
Yeah, but somebody with a bit faster on their feet might have got to some of them whipped across the box balls.
No, they got there. They just missed.
You don't have to stay that way the entire game either. You don't have to stay. You know, they can change around. They can intertwine and stuff. I just feel it isn't working at the moment.
It's a horrible stat, Deckard, like to be the lowest scoring Premier League team since January.
Yeah, we scored 3 goals since January. And that tells me that, okay, let's change it up. You know what I mean? And when I mean change it up as well, and this is what really, and I think it's a social media breed, but like, I absolutely hate it when someone might have a bad hour. So they come in, right? And they're like, right, he deserves a chance. He gets a chance. Comes in for an hour. He's shite now. Just get him back in then, or play him instead. No. Let's give someone some time, get some, build some confidence, get a few minutes under the belt, and see if someone can develop, rather than hasn't worked this game, sell him. Like, that's the sort of the. I don't just mean my mate here, but I mean, like, in general, I just feel like that's kind of what it's
like. It needs to change. Like, 100% need to change. We can't. I know we're talking about Eddie Howe being loyal to Wilson, but for me, that Wolves game, it has to be completely different.
I don't know about completely different, but I think partly the reason that you mentioned Miggy at White Hart Lane, or Tottenham Stadium. Yeah. I think defenders know what they're coming up against now with him, Trippier. I've said before, him, Trippier, Bruno, and I suppose Longstaff for the. Yeah, I'm thinking with Longstaff against the second goal against. I know it was a Fulham goal where he chips it towards the back post.
That's right. Yeah, it was a cross,
and that came from that kind of. I think that was Jacob Murphy's involved as well, wasn't he? But like, on about inverted wingers, you can have inverted wingers with Trippier putting the ball. So Trippier has an option to put the ball in, or the inverted winger can do it, have a shot, and he can have a save on the left hand side. I mean, Burn doesn't get forward, as we all know, Mark. I think. No, I didn't land it.
No, it was very correct.
I think he's feeling a bit vulnerable. That's why he's not arguing today, mate.
Absolutely not, because you're completely wrong.
No, man.
You are.
Let's forgot the stats.
Do you not think? Sorry,
you didn't watch the game at the weekend, so you kind of comment.
Just watched it now.
I've just watched it.
So you missed all the times that he did get forward. Just saying.
I would look. I'm not saying it would be great defensively, because people panic. Trippier and Maxi on that side would be interesting, mind you.
I think
it would be interesting. Like,
I think if you're dropping Miggy. If hypothetically drop Miggy, I think it's probably got to be Gordon or Murphy.
I agree.
Because
I agree.
The work rate they have.
I agree.
Going backwards, and
I think you need that more, because Trippier's so advanced.
Yeah.
I understand why you have that.
That would be my front 3 for next week. It would be Isaac, Gordon, and Maxi against Wolves.
I think it'd be interesting to see that. They're all players. They're all good quality players. They haven't played together. I don't think that...
My worry is Wolves are just going to... It's the type of team and performance that we've struggled against massively.
You'll have Traore licking his lips at tapping.
They'll sit back and they'll just, like we used to do, Maxi. Give Traore the ball, there's your out. Go and run at them.
Go and run down.
So all right, I get what you say. So what do you do then? What do you do?
Gordon.
That's why I thought he would. I honestly thought he'd play Isaac at the weekend and Wilson next week.
I think
there'll be more where we need to hold the ball up and bring players in.
I think
Isaac kind of do that.
We'll miss what Joe Linton gives us defensively against him.
Yeah,
because of the work he does with Dan Burn, Joe Linton this is, which is why I think St. Maximin, he'll be unlucky, but I think he might be the one to sit out, because Gordon gives you a bit more going backwards.
So if we forget about attackers going backwards, if we actually look at our defence, do you think Burn will start?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I think he's looking.
I think Toggle will get more minutes. So rather than coming on for 10, 15, he might come on, depending on how the game goes.
Did Target come on at all?
Yeah.
He did he?
I did. He come on, which was nice to see, because I
like Target.
But it's just about, he's not fit. That's the top and bottom of it. He needs minutes to get there. So you kind of just chuck him straight in, especially against somebody like Traore.
Yeah.
It's a difficult task. I mean, he's not the best in the world, but he's fast.
He's fast.
And-
He's got
and-
Ruben Neves, no,
Oily.
he's capable.
He's oily. And
Did you see him when he came on, man?
Ridiculous.
Jesus.
I'm not kidding. Teams are targeting Burn now a lot.
Every game.
In terms of
Every
this
game.
ball over the top or in behind and stuff, and you got Trippier as fast as hell. So it's going to be interesting. But listen, at the end of the day, right? I'm sure we'll manage that all right. Me, I'm always this thinker of everyone's so obsessed about working back and defending it. We need to score a goal, man.
Yeah.
We're not scoring goals. And we have to find a way of being able to do that. And you're not going to do that by worrying about people running back all the time. You're just not. I'm not saying that means you put 10 up front. I'm not stupid. But, I still think we are capable at the back with 3 in midfield to be able to fill in where we need to out wide and then wide areas. And it's about being able to create chances up front more. And I definitely think Isak needs to play. And I would play that front 3, personally.
Okay.
And if Almiron could come on last 20 minutes and score, wonderful. Job done. Thanks for coming. I'd love him to do that, but I'd love Mickey to come off the bench and have an impact. Of course I do. I just feel that the last couple of games, someone will probably go, he scored against Bournemouth away. Yeah, he did, yeah, but I don't think Almiron's been quite as effective as what he has been. And we all knew that purple patch he had was not Almiron. I mean, it was obviously, but
you're not
we
seeing
going to
him.
get that.
He's not going to score.
Of course he was.
38 games in a row.
Of course,
you know that.
exactly.
But he's playing as an inverted winger, but he's not doing the inverted winger thing of coming inside now. It's that. And again, it sounds like I'm going to start attacking Trippier again, which I don't, because that's all we've done for the last few weeks, isn't it? Is the ball keeps coming to Almiron, and Trippier's not going past him very often. It's coming. He's having to then stop, play the ball to Trippier, and play it back.
Is that because Trippier's being told because of who we've been playing against recently, just to kind of?
No, I definitely agree with you there. If you think of all the goals Almiron scored, other than that worldie against Brentford, I think it was over the top, but a lot of them, like Palace and stuff, are all coming inside. I remember the Leicester game, I think, coming inside.
Yeah.
And you're right, he's not coming inside. Now, could it be that? I agree with what Bessie said. I think we all know that the teams have found out this right-hand side, and maybe they're just packing what Maxi struggles with, because when he tries to come inside, there's just roadblocks in front of you all the time. And Almiron's probably wanting to come inside. There's just too many bodies there. Do you know what I mean? And then
so that's why then when it is there and it comes to Trippier, don't put your foot on the ball. Don't put your studs on it. Just put the ball in the bloody
ball.
box.
I think it was mentioned last week about how quick we can slow a game down.
I said that, yeah. I think Trippier has a momentum killer. I think there's loads of times on the counter attack, and he's dying to put his studs on top of the ball and have a look. And I'm like, oh my God, we're on the break, man. And I feel like we're slagging off a captain who's been unbelievable since signing. It's just
he's been brilliant.
It's just moments in games where you're just pulling your hair out a little bit. Well,
it's because we're not getting them killer moments that we know we're capable of because of things like that. So the microscope are going on them.
And do you know what it is? It's hard not to look at it negatively when you've only won 1 in 8 or 9 and not scored for what seems like an eternity. And of course, you're going to pick it apart. And I'm sure Howe's doing the same. I'm sure Howe's looking, going, how are we going to be able to break a team down? And it's tough at the minute. It is tough. But I still feel that there'll be a team. I'm not saying it'll be Saturday or Sunday. Sorry, we will batter. I do feel that there'll just be a game where it clicks. You know,
it has to. I say that the quality of performance hasn't really changed.
No.
Long parts of that second half, as we've said, we were good.
Yeah, we were.
Let's move on to the questions.
Yep.
Do you want to do your
bit more? Questions? I'll go on, son.
Go and give the video a like.
Talk to your mic when you're doing it, though.
I can't because I can't. Give the video a like.
None of the head.
Yeah, help us out. Like the video. It means a lot to us. And it helps us appear on other Newcastle United fans' feeds as well. Let's go through the questions. First one is from El Grande Salmon, who says, any manager would say they aren't too concerned by misses as long as the team are creating chances. Okay, I know that's not a question, but the reason I've highlighted that, Bestie, is how long do we say that for?
Alan Pardew was always concerned with other people's misses, wasn't he? That's
allegedly.
Hey, that was wasn't expecting that
one. Sorry, I was too busy thinking about that joke.
All right, okay. So how long do we keep on being happy with creating chances and not scoring?
I'll put them away.
Because it has to change.
I don't think we're happy with it now. I just don't know what the other options are. I mean, since Wood went to Forest, Wood was never going to get with 20 goals a season, was he? But since Wood went to Forest, we're really out of options with regards to a goal scorer. Isak, we've just said, isn't the kind of bloke who's going to stand on a penalty spot and just wait for the ball. I don't know. I mean, I don't think we're happy with it now, but I don't know what else we can do to be honest with you, at the minute, and that's not. That sounds a little bit kind of alarmist. It's not meant to. It's not like panic stations out like that. But
and rightfully slow. It's not that
rightfully slow. Chris, what
That's what we are at the minute.
rightfully so. We're not.
Are you still drunk?
I could think of nothing worse than drinking right now. It's not costing we're massively at the moment. Like in seasons gone by, if we were going through this run of form of not being able to score, we're down at the bottom of the table. We're struggling to put results together. Then it's panic stations. Oh, yeah. People are panicking because we're starting to slip from third down into fifth, into sixth, and stuff like that. Hey, we would have all sat here and said, God, if we finish rounding about there, we did. Like, we didn't even think we'd be breaking that top six. We dreamt about doing it. So and yes, as frustrating it is at the minute, it's not causing with massive issues because of what we've done. We've got results in the bank. We've been drawn a lot of games where in the past we would have lost them and stuff like that. It would just be nice if we could
score a goal.
Just put it in the fucking
We've only
net.
lost 3 league games all season. Yeah. Still, it just happens that the 2 of them were the last 2.
The issue is that we're playing Wolves next and we'll draw every single time against Wolves.
That's true.
We do. Willie Bolly normally has something to do with it.
Another draw king.
There'll be some penalty that we should get or they shouldn't get or something like that.
Always something.
Always controversy. VAR all over it.
Next question, Dick, I will come to you on this one. Fish and Rod says, did anyone see Pep sticking his CV in for the Toon job post-match?
I seen him very complimentary about her, I must admit. Oh, very, yeah. I don't know if I've missed something in terms of that reference, but
I think it's just because he was big in Newcastle, saying that we will compete for the title.
For the title,
he has for quite a while though.
Best team in the league, and I think lovely comments.
Before the game, you say that we're the best team in the league in transition and set pieces and all that.
Yeah. Well, if you remember back when in his Barcelona days, he wanted to come and play for Newcastle under Bobby Robson.
But Robson didn't want to take him.
Robson wouldn't let him.
I watched that.
Imagine he could have been managing us instead of Man City.
Guardiola would have been like, I was watching it was in the Bobby Robson film, the More Than Manager film. Watching that, I mean, it's a few years ago, so now when that bit came up, and I thought, he must have been like 40. I was 27.
In his prime.
Unbelievable. No, but it's lovely.
What could have been?
Because normally, to be quite honest with you, managers just like to try and kick with, really. I mean, Ten Hag blaming with for bloody annoying and wasting time.
Jurgen Klopp saying would have a ceiling.
Guardiola can't exactly have a go at with for like
I know
the regime and stuff.
But like it's very rare you hear any opposition manager talk kindly about another team, really, unless they're a lower.
Steve Bruce did every week.
Well, true. He did. He did.
Well, you know.
No, but it's lovely.
3 cheers for the Mexicans
and Pep's mint. So.
Next question is
Jose and Pep.
This one is from this one's from Sean Morgan, okay, but also Zach Horney sends it in as well. Basically, around the fact Miggy's game time, okay. At what point does Miggy get dropped from this team, Mark? Is it this weekend?
No.
Okay.
No,
if his performances, let's say Maxi played like
he's
he
not
played.
Playing terribly though.
No, okay, let's finish it. So if Maxi was playing change nothing, was playing like Almiron is, would that be fine?
Yeah. So they go on and say,
okay, I remember that one.
We just had a discussion about this.
No, Maxi will never play like Almiron does though.
Is it time to ditch the inverted wingers though?
I think no, personally, no. I don't think it doesn't need to be that rational. I don't think. I don't think it needs to be that aggressive. I don't think, personally. I know it's not working in a minute, but I think it will.
It's not just us that are struggling with it as well.
Yeah.
When you look at other teams that are playing it, other than Foden at the weekend, he's the only one that I've seen where somebody's actually came in and done something. There's been loads of like the games that have been over
at the weekend
and stuff like that. That was just a anomaly of a game, though, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, no, but it's the way football is, right? It's the way that it's going, and I'm not certainly, and I agree with what Bestie was saying. Is necessarily, I know it sounds old-fashioned a bit. I'm not going back to the 90s here, but like we haven't really got someone in the middle that if we are peppering with crosses could maybe do anything with anyway. You know what I mean?
You don't have to be sticking it in the air though, because that's putting it into the keeper strength.
I mean, if you see
flash it across the goal,
the chances we had at the weekend, Joe Linton was from a cross from the right hand side. Wilson's was from a header back across from Trippier. You've just said that Jacob Murphy put a couple of crosses in. Isaac played one across, but towards the back post didn't quite. So there's 6-7 straight away, and that's crosses coming from right foot as a header from the right footer. That's coming that way across the box. So for all we're talking about inverted wingers here, we're still getting right footers going towards the byline and sticking the ball in head height, waist height, whatever. So it's not really, it's not a conversation for me.
I agree.
But that's after changes. We're not starting in that
But
way.
we are. Trippier's always putting crosses in on the overlap.
I think you should
Or
put more
the
in.
overlap,
I understand what
The
you're
ball,
saying.
the ball Bruno plays over the top for Miggy for Shaw Longstaff when he kind of cuts between the two defenders. I haven't seen that for a little while actually. But that would always end up with being either a Miggy goal at Fulham or a ball across the box. So it's a total non-conversation. For me, inverted wingers just means that you've got a left footer who can cut inside and maybe do something on that left foot, play it square. St. Maximin, how many times have you seen St. Maximin in the last 4 seasons? Start off on the halfway line, go forward, then diagonal 45 degrees. And eventually he's running a long parallel with the 18-yard box. He scored a few like that.
But that's all we're doing. But now the ball is just going all the way across the box.
It's not, I've just mentioned 7 crosses that we're putting on Saturday. This is against Manchester City, where the ball's coming from the right-hand side to someone, not one from the left-hand side, bizarrely. Because Dan Burn doesn't get forward, obviously.
It's a good point, though. It's a good point. Do you know what it is? Ashfaq said something today. To be fair, I didn't see it with my own eyes, right? But there was something it could be called passing the scouting network or something. Apologise if I've just totally crucified that, but something like that anyway. And he was saying that it's about like it shows you where passes are completed and things like that. And it was on the right hand side where we had close knit 4 players all the time. It was obviously would be Longstaff, perhaps Bruno, Trippier, I don't know, constantly. And then it had one network on this side of the field. And it was literally like from here at Northumberland Street. It was like you had Burn, and you had one man, be it Gordon or Maxi. That was it. That was it. And then you've got another million miles from Maxi to the striker, if Wilson's on. But on the right-hand side, everyone's very close-knit. And of course, that's where good work happens. And this is why I will say it again. Anyone that plays left wing is going to have a tough ride, like, because you ain't got much on. Really, you haven't got much on.
The left wingers, we seem to be doing the best at the start of the season, or the first half of the season, when you had Joe Linton and Joe Willock kind of taking turns almost, one go forward, one drop back.
Yeah.
But it wasn't necessarily linking up with the fullback. I'm not doing this to take a piss. I'm just saying this is how it is. You look at how we play on the right-hand side, and Trippier kind of goes forward 2/3 of the pitch. The ball's with, ball goes forward, we'll play the ball with Miggy quite a bit, or Jacob Murphy if he's on. You've normally got Longstaff there, Bruno's floating around, he gets involved, and someone else, a striker going towards the back post. On the left-hand side, it tends to be a run. It tends to be Isaac and Maximan if they are on there. But it tends to be either Joe Linton or Jacob Murphy just running because they've got that pace, they've got the head down.
Willock as well, just head down and just run. You know what I mean? It tends to be a lot more. I totally agree. It's just head down and run.
I think that kind of imbalance might be why we're struggling a bit now, because teams know, well, Newcastle have got the ball on the right-hand side, they've got into play, so try and cut off those avenues. Left-hand side, we don't really need to worry about because just put him on there. So Maximan has got a left foot, so...
I've definitely. I mean, the Man United did that very well in the final, especially the second half.
Brilliantly in the final.
When he come inside, he was just running into so much trouble.
Yeah,
you know, and it's very difficult, and that's why it's like a game of chess sometimes, isn't it? Of how you can tactically break the opposition down. And I'm sure we will get there. We will. It's just at the minute it is frustrating.
I've got faith, and we might struggle. I mean, I'm not saying that we're not going to score a goal again this season. You hope not. It's only March the 7th now, 6th, but like. If we get the end of the season, and I think we might labour a little bit, we'll win more games. I think we'll probably finish 7th, 8th. And it's what happens in the summer. 7th, 8th probably gets into Europe. I think 7th definitely does. If one of the top 5
Europa Conference,
I think 8th might not. I was reading, I think with Ginger Palo.
Yeah, I've read some of that as well.
Or Gianfranco Shola maybe on Twitter earlier saying 8th might not do. Whatever happens, happens. But then, regardless. In the summer, you look at, right, who can we get in? All we're going to do every summer, every transfer window, even if it's only bit by bit. January, maybe you could say that we didn't, but it's kind of strengthened a little bit. So it's not going to be, and we've seen this. I mean, the first January after the takeover, we got Burn, Trippier, Bruno, but we've got a few stayed up, did really well, finished 11th. Summer we did it again a little bit, so it's going to be. We can't just go out and spend. Right, we want Robinho, we want Roberto Carlos, we want Zidane. You know, you've got to kind of do it incrementally because that's how it is.
They're a bit old now, like them.
They will be, but still couldn't afford them. But but you've got to do it bit by bit. So the team is going to keep on getting better. And it'll be a different conversation next year. We'll more be struggling to score, maybe leaking more because of push, whatever. We'll be all right. It's fine.
I do think, of course, you've got faith in the staff that are there.
Totally.
You know, if it was Steve Bruce now, I would say we'll never score again. That's how I would feel. And I feel like it has been very... it hasn't been tough to watch, like, to be fair. I've still enjoyed watching them. I still think we're playing the right way. I really do feel like that as well. But I just have belief in that we have the right people there.
I think we're a good team. We're a frustrating team. But again, I'll put this on Twitter. I think I mentioned it last Monday night. I think I'm the only person that went to Wembley that didn't meet Darren Eales. He was absolutely everywhere, like greasing the wheels and all that, and shaking hands, and I'm pleased to meet with the fans and all that. Like
Try him up front.
He's everywhere. He's very short.
Him, Dan Ashworth. I've got the talking about a data science.
Yes,
and
kick away from Man City.
These jobs that were kind of that are going now. These people that are getting employed now that we just didn't have happening a while ago. It's a work in progress. It's kind of it's going to be lush when we.
Lee Charnley was all of them.
Yeah,
Johnny
was
data analyst.
I remember
sports science.
I remember, and I sound a bit like. I remember when the board of directors was Ashley Charnley, Bob Moncur, and Steve McLaren.
Yeah,
and like that was the board.
Proper in-house,
and it was in-house, but it was like, well, and then Bob Moncur is a club legend. I mean, people have got their opinions how he was with Ashley, but he's a club legend. Charnley, Ashley Howard, and Steve McLaren, bless him. He just, I like McLaren just because he just, you know how Kevin Keegan stuff just happened to him, like he fell off his bike that time and all that, and it's like, oh, it's Kevin Keegan. McLaren's got a bit, didn't have nearly the same effect in Newcastle, obviously, but like stuff just seems to happen to Steve McLaren. He's just really unlucky. I can't dislike him.
Hot manager though.
A terrible manager for us. Weird because he went
good coach.
Won the league at FC20. Did okay at Borough. Awful at Man U.
He's back there doing a good job now.
Yeah, he's a good coach.
He's a good assistant manager.
It seems to be the case. But we're just in a far better state now than we've been for a long time. The foundations are getting built.
I think for a lot of people, I think it's because of the success of what it's been so far. I think that's why maybe some people are. I'm not one of these. I'm just saying people are like. I'm not saying worried is the wrong word, but like you know, you've literally been battering teams here. We haven't lost a game in 20 games. We've conceded 7 goals, and now all of a sudden you haven't won 1 and 9, and people are 1 and 8, and people are like, I don't know. It's just expectations, rightly or wrongly, change.
I think that's
over
what
the
it is.
course of a season, spoiled. You know? And maybe being spoiled a bit, yeah. And I think it's what is strange is I definitely feel that Eddie Howard getting so much out of the squad of players he had together, or every single one of them were above probably where they could play. And now I think we've got the entire team playing maybe what they are. It's so unfortunate that it's all or nothing. Do you know what I mean? We couldn't just have everyone go back to playing par, but still having 2 or 3 still playing quality.
Yeah,
I just feel everyone seems to have dropped into
an
average type of level, and unfortunately, it's not enough to win games.
Because you can go through the whole team, exception maybe a Nick Pope, and say like, they're not quite playing the way they were in October and November.
Yeah, they're not.
Literally all of them.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things.
I think the problem is, and again, don't want to go back over what we've covered, but the focal point of that is where is the fall down at the minute.
Scoring goals, you mean?
Scoring goals.
And it's Callum Wilson. His stock has dropped massively. And that is a lot of our issues because
it might just be a bad run of form.
It has, but it's
10 games.
I will say this, and I've said this before as well, mind you. When a successful team is where goals are coming from everywhere, you know, and funny enough, I was looking through the fixtures earlier on there, and I think we'd beat someone 4-0. It was Willock, Bruno, Almiron, Wilson, or something like that. It was individual scorers, you know. And when Wilson's down, unfortunately not confident that he is, we need Longstaff to score that goal. Well, maybe we need Bruno chipping in. We need Joe Linton to get on the end of that one. Yeah. And then, do you understand what I mean? But then the pressure's not on him. It's like, okay, right, you're not doing well, but we'll help you through that. We'll score goals.
There was a point earlier in the season.
Now it's everyone.
It was quite a long way in the season. I've been actually at the World Cup where I think us and Chelsea were the top 2 with a 14, 15 player score for. And that was the top of the like no one else was anywhere near that.
We need centre half scoring goals. I've said it time and time again.
Lascelles get back.
Well, centre halves need to be doing more. It's just scoring goal. I know it's not the job, but they do. You know what I mean?
Botman had a good header as well.
He did. Lascelles did as well. That we've covered. But any more questions? We've got.
That's it.
Go on, keep going.
No, we're done.
Oh,
we're finished over.
Everyone switched off. Had enough of it.
Everyone's out.
No, we're done for the night. We've been going an hour. So thanks everybody for joining us. The reason why we're finishing is because he wants to go to bed. I want to go to bed as well.
How long do you think we could go though? Because I mean,
forever.
For an hour there, you know, we've talked. We haven't come on for air there.
Every week's the same. Every week it's like, I've got a bit more to give.
It's mad like that.
Yeah, I think we could easily do.
But
I'm going to get Wolves Sunday. But just quick scoreline.
Score prediction for Wolves on Sunday. I think 2-1 to the Mags.
Not a draw.
Nah.
Okay.
Chris.
1-0.
Offside.
Yes.
Mark.
0-0.
Okay, no, got it.
The hangover is awful, isn't it? I like the other Mark. And I hate him and all. I'll go 2-1. Yeah, I fancy 2-1. And be amazing when to get a win.
Are you going to take us like one of them cardboard things that the kids take for Neves.
Can I have your shirt?
Ruben, please sign for the tune.
I might just ask for 15 quid so I can get a print on the back of my shirt. Like, so they'll fit his shirt. Like.
Yeah, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. It's been a pleasure as always. Like I said earlier, if you want to like the video, it means a lot to us. If you want to become a subscriber, even better. We're nearly at 10,000. If you want to give it a bit extra back, it's $2.99 a month to become a member. We did record 2 videos as well before we went live as well.
But you're not getting them unless you like the video now.
And
Do it.
become a member.
Like the video.
Because that's the point.
Yeah, but if you get them to like it,
helps.
they need like it to become a video member as well.
Do you reckon that would work, Golden sign in the very back row of the corner?
No.
Like this
Ruben
video.
can have
Like this video.
That pigeon obscuring half the shirt. And
We've got a QR code now, so if you just take that, get the QR code, pin it on the back of your shirt.
Go just stand at the steps when he comes off the bus. You know, like
The
when he
people
comes
that
out the
scan it
bus.
from level 7 on the back of
festival.
his shirt,
Can
wouldn't
I
it?
have your shirt?
gently, like you put him in disguise. Oh, him again. Can I believe this?
But yeah, thanks everybody. We do have a competition on the Gallowgateshots Twitter account as well, where you can win 2 tickets for that Wolves game as well.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I retweeted that earlier, but not because I want to win it, just because I was sharing.
I didn't retweet it because I was having
Because I was
You
drunk.
were just spreading.
I was spreading the
the
word.
word.
I don't want to win it.
Yeah, well, you're not going to win it, mate.
I don't know if I can go anywhere. The Ben's got
No.
chicken pox.
Yeah. Oh god, you brought it in, yeah.
No, I've had it before. I'm alright. I'm clean. But if your boys haven't had if your kids haven't had chicken pox yet, I'll bring like some Ralphie shirts in, and you can dish my boot like 'cause it's got to catch it young.
All right, okay.
Bad when you're an adult because you can get shingles.
Okay. Thanks everybody.
Apparently,
See
you can get
later.
shingles anyway if you've had
What?
chicken
What is
pox
it
in the
doing?
past.
Right, we are
Oh,
not
God.
having a conversation about when and who can catch shingles.
We are not
Right.
looking at porn. Can I just add that? 'Cause
See
that-
you
no,
later.
that-
That
So,
is
what?
that is actual
the-
porn.
There's a shirt on. Look,
That is
Oh, right,
actual
okay.
porn.
the
That's
shirt, man. It says
That's good. Is that, like?
Keegan on the back.
No, we're not.
I've seen that.
Right, thanks everybody. See you later. Ta-ra.